Johnson & Johnson. Makers of Johnson's Baby Powder, the famous Tech toothbrush and Band-Aid adhesive bandages, welcome listeners on 57 stations throughout Australia
to the Quiz Kids Show.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Good. It's good to be here.
Yeah. Stephanie, how are you?
I have some terrible allergies. Thank you for asking.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What are you allergic to?
Sydney.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I've never
Toxicity of modern life.
I've never heard anyone call you Stephanie before.
I like it.
Do you?
I feel like I'm in trouble.
Nice.
Do you like it? Because when people call me Benjamin, I really don't fucking like it.
No, I like it.
Because I feel like it's like a dick power move, like syllabalizing my name, and it's like kind of like a condescending, like, you
But
know,
that's just-
get in your place kind of thing.
Is that because you're just on edge?
I think it's respectful.
I get that as well, because people call me James a lot, because that's like my actual name.
Yeah,
But
right.
I've just been called Jamie for so long. But sometimes when people call me James, I was like, oh, it's a cool, nice friend thing. But sometimes when they do, I'm like, you're being a dickhead, aren't you? Like, you're trying to, like, assert power over me.
Yeah, most time when people say Benjamin, it's like, Benjamin?
Yeah.
Like that. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but are you just talking about one specific person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you said it like that, I was like, I know exactly. Because it's not, Benjamin's not that offensive.
It's such a delicate balance.
Ben, famously hard to read.
Because it's Benjamin isn't good, but neither is Benny.
Oh.
Like if I get called, no, I don't mind you calling me Benny because we've
Thank
got
you.
history. But if someone like that I don't know calls me Benny, I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'd hate that. Like,
Do you get called Jimmy?
No, not really.
I suppose Jamie's like, it's either Jamie or Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. If they did that at that point, I'd be like, what's the point? What are you
It's
doing
too much.
here? Yeah.
Do you ever get called Steffi?
I
I call her Steffi.
Yeah.
And I always do it in the most condescending way.
Jamie gets away with a lot.
Yeah.
And then other people try to, I'm like, no. That's a Jamie thing.
Well, it's earned trust.
I don't mind getting called Jenny, but it very much depends who says it. It has to.
Oh, really? I'd always picture that being like, oh, hi, Jenny.
No,
Like,
some people say it. And Ben calls me Jenny. It's fine. I've had like partners call me Jenny, and I don't mind. And I met one of Chris's family friends, and she called me Jenny straight off the bat. But it was just kind of cute. She's like an older woman. It was just kind of like motherly, if anything.
Oh, it's like all words. It's just tone and intent. So
Having
if the tone
said
is to
that-
condescend you, then it's obvious from the
Except the
outside.
Yeah, if
N-word,
anyone
that's
else
never
did.
Okay.
What was that?
Except the N-word. That's never okay.
Well, that's never okay.
Yeah. So does Chris, like, have a pet name for you? Like,
Yeah, like 20.
Yeah? So it's not, but, like...
I'm not saying any of them.
I'm not interested in really hearing them, except I totally am. But it's just more like you get so used to when you're a long-term couple. I don't think I've called Amy
Yeah.
for such a long time that when I say it out, sometimes she double takes.
What
Yeah,
is-
yeah, yeah.
What is your pet name for your wife?
I don't want to say that.
No,
either.
what is it? Like,
no,
what is it?
It's Buzz.
Snooky?
Buzz.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
lovely.
yeah. Well, we call it ourselves. Like, we're both Buzz. So, like...
Oh, see, that's kind of gross.
no.
That's like those couples, you know those couples that wear identical clothes, like they're twins, and they go out like with matching
Yeah, you don't like how
bags
me and
and
my
shit?
Buzz wear
Oh, that's
identical
sick
clothes?
shit. Because I thought it was going to be
We
like a
both wear
puzzle. Woody
spinning
thing.
propeller hats together.
No, I'm into it. When like in Korea, heaps of Korean couples did that, and I was like, that's super cute. It's gross, but I love that stuff.
I would love to know what Chris's are so bad.
I'm
but,
totally
like,
never gonna say. You get him drunk and he'll tell you.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Yeah.
I think I know what it is, but it's not even that.
No, you don't. Well, say, and I'll just say yes or no.
I thought it was like, no. It's like some kind of legume or something. Bean,
Legume?
Chickpea.
No. What do you like?
Oh, leek. I love you.
I've never been referred to as a legume by anyone.
No, just the family of beans and peas.
I've never been called a bean or a
I know
pea.
someone that calls their partner Bean.
It ain't
Who's
me.
that? All right.
I think ours is devolved. Like, I kind of like ours being what it is because it transcends the regular kind of baby darling dynamic, you know?
Buzz.
Yeah, but it started as like, I think it was just a typo in a text message for like baby, but I think if you've been dating for like 3 years and you're still calling someone baby, it's like, how fucking unoriginal are you?
Buzz.
Buzz is
Yeah,
cute.
just fucking say Buzz.
It's it is very sweet.
You can call me at all time now, Ben.
Buzz.
Yeah.
Buzzy.
Yeah.
Buzzy
you can
Jamie
do that.
boy.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
nicknames have you had any nicknames, Steph or Ben?
Not from partners, but in high school for sure.
What were your nicknames
Yeah, I
in
had
high
nicknames
school?
in high school.
I had Step on Me from Full House.
Step on me.
Yeah, there was an episode of Full House where Stephanie was called Step on Me, so I was then called Steph.
Nice.
On me. Stiff Fanny was a good one.
Stiff?
Fanny.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I
good.
thought you said stiff fatty.
Yeah. Oh no.
Fanny.
Oh, fanny. Stiff fanny. What is that, like a frigid reference?
I think it was just my name with as many swear words as they could put in it.
Oh, right.
And then my favourite was Trophy Wife.
Nice. I'd be into that.
Which I,
Why trophy wife?
because I used to have people over at my house and then I just wouldn't do anything.
Oh, right.
So I'd be like, yeah, you can come over, but I'm not cooking or
Feeding
providing
you.
anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they thought I would make a good trophy wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you have a nickname, Beb?
I had two. One was Benjamin Smellwood.
Yeah, right.
What a
It's
goodie.
funny, right? And then the other one was Noddy, which stuck for like 6 years. And that started because my friend had big ears. And obviously we were gay together because Noddy and Big Ears were gay together.
Yeah, right.
It started with him being called Big Ears, and then all the older kids was, oh, Big Ears fucks Noddy, so you're Noddy, you fucking...
That's
It was like the
clever.
mid-1990s.
Yeah, so I
you know,
also
still-
had also a homophobic nickname. Really? Well, because my full name is James D. Kirk, which is like so similar to James T. Kirk, the captain of the Starship Enterprise
Right.
in Star Trek. So when I was in school, we had a gay music teacher called Mr. Nelson. And for some reason, my friends thought it would be funny if I had sex with Mr. Nelson. So my name was Captain Kirk, Explorer of the Starship Nelson, and it's a long one to do as well. But people did do it a
That's
lot.
so much more imaginative than our school. Our homophobic nicknames was, we called one guy Cockbum. And that was his name for like the entire, Cockbum, what are you up to? And then for some reason it evolved into Cockabummer. And then that was like, and we thought we were so clever the way we'd merged these two words to create a whole new concept.
It's beautiful.
Not good, right?
No.
Everyone forgets how fucking putrid the mid-1990s was.
Oh
That's
man,
insane.
It was a bad time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's pretty
We've come
gross.
so far.
Have you got any cutesy ones that you've been called?
No.
Ben's never been loved.
Benji.
Benji?
Well,
Your
I've told
mum
you that
calls
story.
You
Yeah,
Benji.
and the only time she ever called me that was when she busted me masturbating in her bed.
I meant
So-
romantic. Like by
No.
like a woman other than your
That's
mother.
romantic.
Benji, you're really going for it.
Your technique's wrong.
You're supposed to
Like
use the hand right side up.
A female that you've dated, not mumsy. Like not mum.
Maybe. I don't know. I've been called Bear.
That's
Hey,
cute.
that is cute.
I don't remember anything else. Or maybe I blocked it all out. Let's not talk about relationships right now, hey?
All right.
Let's just not.
'Cause
All
otherwise-
right, what's your word, guys?
Yes.
Do you want to do your one first, Steph?
Oh, the word we picked?
Well, yes. Sorry. Okay. So we're not going to talk about it because we don't want Sean to have to edit the shit out of
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Last time we did a live show, Benny said a lot of stuff, and we could only release a quarter of the show.
Oh, should I tell? No, we'll
No.
talk about it, all right.
So we are going to ask you guys for your words. So Steph, what's your word?
Oh, my word is gratitude.
And what's your word, Kirkman?
Mine's awkward.
Okay. Gratitude and awkward.
I imagine that you experience awkwardness quite a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, totally.
How do you? Is that what the excessive drinking is all about?
Thank you for asking.
Are you a degenerate alcoholic to navigate your own awkwardness in human interactions?
Yeah, degenerate alcoholic seems a little harsh, but I have actually used that term to describe. That's one where, like, if I say I'm an alcoholic, my wife like looks at me seriously and is like, either don't say that or maybe take steps to amend it. And I'm just like,
Either fix it or don't admit to it.
I'm just trying to have a couple beers, you know. No, I guess like I moved around a lot when I was a kid, so I've always kind of been. I've had multiple experiences where I've been the new kid in a big situation. I've not always been able to deal with it. I think it's carried over to multiple aspects of my life. I know, like, I seem like a friendly, gregarious, hilarious guy.
Usually
but, like,
the most awkward.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. You mean? I thought you meant he presents as the most awkward. I was
No.
like, yeah.
Often the most gregarious person in the room, the paradox is that they're incredibly
Internally,
awkward.
yeah.
Oh, totally. You get that
self-conscious.
sometimes, like when you get off stage at a gig and then someone, like, say, finds you in the smoking area
Yeah.
with your head down, just checking your phone. They're like, "That's so funny," and all you can say is, "Oh, thank you," and then they're just like, "You're not like you are on stage," and you're just like, "No."
No, it's all a fucking performance.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
a shell.
just doing this because I'm an insane narcissist and a degenerate alcoholic.
Yeah, I think that most people use alcohol as some kind of fucking awkwardness lubricant, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think the first time I discovered drinking beers, I was at like a year 12 party and just like suddenly was like talking to popular people, talking to every social group, and people were just like, yeah, Jamie's like quite fun. And you just say, yeah, all right, I'm going to need this crutch forever.
Do you have that, Steph? Do you have like feeling awkward unless you have a drink? God, we do sound like alcoholics. That's fine.
No, mine's not an awkward thing.
No.
I don't think so. No. I
You're
mean,
just
I
fucking
love
killing
drinking.
it in groups of people.
No. I absolutely love drinking, but I think that's more a dependency on the alcohol rather than...
Yeah, I do think I've morphed away from that a
Yeah.
little bit. It's not now, like I wouldn't walk into a room with you guys and say like, oh, I need to have a drink to have a conversation with you, even though I had 4 pints of beer before we started this. I didn't need it. I just thought it would be fun to have drinks with my friends.
No, but it is easier.
It is fun.
It is easier to unleash the full force of your personality after some kind of lubrication.
I think it's a handicap.
You think it's a handicap?
For me, absolutely, yeah.
I don't think so. Well, not for me. Why it is for you? What, it just makes you, it cuts you off?
Yeah, it cuts me off. It makes me slower.
Oh, man.
I'm less likely to participate in conversations if I've been drinking.
Mine just depends on the moon or something. Sometimes if I have a few drinks, I'm like, I'm just doing so good talking to people. And other times when I have a few drinks, I'm like, I need to like, someone needs to fucking end this. Like, I need to be taken away and I need to feel bad for 3 days about all the heinous shit I said. Like, it's one way or the other. There is no in
So
between.
you remember any of it that
Oh,
created
God,
anyway.
it's horrible.
I think the first time we became friends was when I saw you doing the ladder.
It's like a Monday night. A year later.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Yeah, I was doing good at that
No,
time.
I feel like you're right. It does slow you down, but I feel like I'm better when my brain has like a little bit of sludge to move through. Because it's like it's going so fucking fast that if I'm
Yeah.
like overtired or I have a couple of drinks, it's like everything kind of grinds to, or other things. It kind of grinds to a halt a bit, and there's a
But when
little bit more ease in saying what I need to say.
When you say better, what do you mean? Like, I feel like I'm more likable if I'm drunk, but I don't think I'm better.
That's heavy. So you think that people like you more than you're drunk, but why isn't that?
No. I just mean I think I'm easier to talk to if I'm drunk because I don't, like, I'm not...
Because there's less filters.
Yeah, I'm not jumping on
It's kind of
everything
like
that
what
they're
you
saying
said,
or-
especially because like I feel my mind goes a mile a minute, being like, does this person like me? Am I saying the right thing? But when you have a couple of drinks, it like kind of buffers that, and you're just like, I don't care if the person likes me. I'm just gonna you keep talking.
Which
and-
invariably makes you more likable.
Yeah, exactly.
No one likes someone
until
that's
you tip over
apologising.
the edge, until you're just a cunt,
But
like,
I
basically.
think the most anxious I've ever been is when I'm drunk and it feels like no one else is drunk. Like, that is the scariest.
Yeah, everyone else being drunker is always the best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
People getting
never want to
sloppy and
get.
gross.
You never want to get to a point. I hate this so much socially. It's the thing that gives me maybe the most anxiety when people will like message you or call you the next day and be like, "So, you were drunk last night," with that inflection like no one else quite got to your level. When you're just like, "Well, I remember it being like we're all having a good time," and they're just like, "No, it was you."
I've sent you that message.
Yeah. I've sent you that message too.
I've only ever been that drunk once in my entire life when I was 17, and I never got that drunk again because of like I'd never experienced regret on such a profound level in my life before. It was like I got paralytic. I'd never been drunk, even tipsy before, and then had half a bottle of Bombora at the year 11 formal, and then remembered nothing, and then woke up the next morning in a sombrero in my underwear on my friend's couch, and had to like make my way back home. And when I got to the bus stop, my English teacher was standing at the bus stop because it was like fucking 8 a.m. on a Friday morning or something. And I remember him just looking at me with like the most purest loathing and disgust because he already didn't like me. And then seeing me in this scenario was like, oh, you are disgusting. But I had no memory of what had happened. And then I got home and Mum's like, I was fucking worried about you. So I'm dealing with all that while my head's like fucking pickaxed open. I'm in so much pain. I just want to vomit. And then I lie down and I start having this like flip book of everything that had happened the night before coming back at me like one punch in the face after the other.
But doesn't
Like-
everyone has that when
Well,
they're
I'd
like in
never
high
experienced-
school, right? Like a one-off in high school, surely.
No, but people repeat that throughout their whole lives. I know people in their fucking early 40s that are still getting paralytic drunk, like just crushing their way through rooms. It's like, how are you... Like, how can you keep
keep
how
on
can you
drinking
move?
the next day. I don't know.
I could never move past the regret.
Yeah, that stuff's tough. I took a 2-year break from drinking in high school because the very first time.
In high school, when did you start?
Well, no,
drinking?
because it was the very first time and then the last time for ages because I got drunk and one of my more dead shit mates got drunk with me and we were just saying, oh, okay, we'll stay at my parents' house afterwards. No one's going to be any the wiser. We had sport the next day. I got drunk, he got destroyed. We just stunk of like booze and cigarettes. We were in my room and I'm in my bed. He's on like an inflatable mattress. We had forgot to bring keys to my house. So already like we're knocking on the door at like 1 a.m. while my friend's pissing like in the parents' front window.
Something more putrid than a drunk fucking male in his early
it's
20s.
disgusting. And he was like drunk and I was just like, are you okay, man? And then I just heard like, whoa. And then he had thrown up all over like my floor, which was carpeted, my inflatable bed, the first shelf of my bookcase was just caked in it. And so you just never knew how to deal with it because it's the first time we've been drunk. So I'm getting up at 2 a.m, going down to the kitchen, the lights flicking on. I'm bringing up Dettol and tons of kitchen wipes. My parents are like, what are you doing down here? And I'm just like, cleaning up a spill and just like caking down so much.
Puked his soul all over my
just
bookshelf.
caking down so much paper towels, and then it's just like it's gonna be okay. And then we woke up at 7, removed the paper towels. There's still just this gigantic vomit stain. It's everywhere. And that was like the first time I'd heard the very cliche. After my friend left, he had told his dad as well, like a piece of shit, that he had got gastro. So like,
That's actually pretty good.
yeah.
That's a great excuse.
Yeah, so for years he was disinvited to my house. And then one time when I was 19, I got really drunk and threw up in his kitchen sink. And his dad like gave it to me and he was like, that is so disrespectful. I was like, what about when your son like ruined $400 of my property? And he was like, when he had gastro. And I was just like, yeah, nah.
You judgmental fuck.
But that's the first time I clearly got the cliche, like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. And I had to, like, look up at my mom in bed, like, hungover, being like, how do I make it better? So then I just, like, every party after that, I can't come. And I had so many different excuses for it until I turned 18. And I was still so nervous about it, thinking, like, oh, how am I going to, like, play this with my parents? I was like, I've got this 18th party. And they were just like, yeah, you're fucking 18 now. You can do what you want.
Did you continue to get that kind of blackout drunk into your adult life?
No, but like I wasn't even the one that blackout drunk that night. It was just like my friend had done something so horrifying and I had felt so bad and I felt bad the next day. But once like I turned 18, I agreed with my parents. I was like, I guess I'm kind of allowed to do this. It wasn't you know what I mean? It wasn't taboo anymore, though.
Your
It
parents
wasn't like I
sound
can
like-
get just disgustingly blackout drunk. I try and avoid that. That's always bad.
Your parents sound super chill. Like they're like, look, you can do it now, son.
Comparatively,
Like,
yeah,
you're
but at
of
the time I
age.
was mortified.
Yeah, but mortified's okay if your parents
Yeah.
don't give a shit. My mum, when she got me she didn't get me drunk, which would have probably happened. She caught me really, really drunk when I was younger and she picked me up and she could tell because I got into the back seat of the car, like my friends had been caught. And I was like, I'm sitting in the back. And immediately she was like, you vomit on my fucking car and I'll kill you. And then the next day just didn't talk about it. And that was
Never
it.
mentioned it again?
No, very Hungarian. If she found cigarettes, she would just like get rid of them and that was it. Like, no, it was just like a look of like, I fucking know what you're doing and it's not okay. But that was it. I never got like a conversation.
I told my grandma, like 2 days after the first time I ever took ecstasy, I told my grandma about it.
You and Nan.
She was rad. She was so cool. Because she was a chemist, so she had a lot of interest in, like, you know, what chemicals do to consciousness.
Yeah.
And she was very much of that kind of, like, you know, atoms of the future generation, where it's like, you know, better living through chemistry. If you're feeling sad, have a pill. If you want to lose weight, have a pill. So I remember at first she was kind of just like, what was it like? And I'm explaining to her the euphoria and all of, like, you know, that first experience with ecstasy. And she got all wistful and teary, and she's like, I hate to say this, but if I was young, I would do exactly what you are doing right now.
That's a nice bonding moment.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that
my fucking
explains
cousin.
a great deal
my
about
cou-
you.
Oh, seriously, I would
Yeah,
have loved
also
to,
that.
Oh, I would have loved to have got high with one of them. That would have been so good. My cousin smoked a cone with my great grandma when she was 101, and apparently she just went off on all these reveries about her life, you know, because she lived the entire span of the 20th century, you know, and she's like stoned great grandma at 101, and she'd never had anything like that in her life before, like maybe a few wines or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's suddenly like sitting there like, whoa. Don't you think that'd be like fucking? You go to a retirement home. They should be pumping marijuana smoke through the fucking air vents.
Yeah, that'd be
seriously.
incredible, even just to bond with
Play
your
some fucking
great-grandparents.
20s tunes.
I think their equivalent is like sherry.
Huh?
Their equivalent is sherry. Like they're just
Yeah, but that's
drinking.
because all they know.
Yeah, I watched a doco about this village where there's like really, really old Koreans. Like it's in Korea. I don't remember where it is in Korea, but they're living to like over 100. And they're like, "What's the secret to your longevity?" And they're like, "We drink this every day." And it's like it's this probiotic that's also alcohol called Makgoli, but they drink like liters of it every day. So they're getting like buzzed, but they're also having a probiotic. And they're like, "This is the key to success." And then I tried it with my partner, and we both couldn't sleep. Got real sick, got stomach pain.
Yeah, but you got to climb you're not 100-year-old.
I'm not 100 years old yet, so maybe that's the key.
Yeah, right.
Better booze. I feel like the older generation don't understand awkwardness because they look like they were too fucking busy trying to eat or work. Like, I feel like that's very much a modern
That's
thing
true.
to be like, I feel awkward in a social setting. Like, I feel like back in the day they were like, you fucking do it. Like,
I think it, of course. It's like, I think everyone like talks about social anxiety or awkwardness or whatever as though it's like completely this mystery of why it happens. It's like, well, no, you walk into a room full of fucking strangers and you have to like, whatever. You know,
It's never walking into a room of strangers. It's always like a party where you know most of the people.
Well, even if it's walking into a room full of people who you care what their opinion of you is, like you have to be like either kind of like an extremely confident person or a psychopath not to feel a little bit like, am I being too overbearing? Am I saying the wrong thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I good?
Yeah,
Am I good,
I guess.
mummy, daddy? All that, you know.
Am I good, mommy?
Am I
Yeah,
good,
I
mommy?
guess. I guess there's a little bit of that. I feel awkward all the fucking time. I mean, who am I kidding?
All right, let's flip it out of the awkwardness. What are you grateful
Gratitude.
for? What are you grateful for, Steph?
Well, not really anything. That's why I picked that word.
Really?
Jesus! That took a dark turn. I thought you picked it because you're like, I do yoga.
No. It was like, it's more like I have a real problem with indignation. And then I realized that gratitude is like the fix for indignation. And I only worked that out like a week ago. And so I'm really on that. I'm vibing on that right now.
What do you mean? Like comparing the quality of your life to how it could be?
Yeah.
And being grateful
or
for what
other
you have.
people, and then just
Yeah.
be like the actual like the solutions to that is just be like, oh, you should be really happy you have this stuff. So I'm trying to do that right now.
But being really happy is different to being grateful. Like the pressure of
Yeah.
you should be really, really happy is not the same as just feeling grateful for shit.
No, but
But
it's
gratitude and happiness are two. They're
yeah. It's not about
That's
being
what I mean.
happy. It's more just like I want to be focusing on the stuff I have rather than the stuff I don't.
Is that like to appreciate the stuff you have, or to get out of the mindset of the mindset of want?
Yeah.
Like if I get this thing, then if I
Yeah.
get, you know, like I had that before I went to New York. You know, I was like, oh, I'll be in New York and then I'll be happy. It's like, no, it's still you. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, oh, when I get back to my routine, I'll be happy. No. But so it's like, it's how do you detach out of the moment and just be grateful for the now? It's
Well, what
very
are you
fucking
what are you
difficult.
looking for? Like, what are you trying to get?
No, well, that's the thing. Like I don't really want anything. I just still get really mad when I don't have stuff.
So what's the stuff you don't have that you want?
Like specifically, I don't know. I mean, I can talk in terms of like comedy and stuff.
Yeah, I don't care what terms.
Fuck, okay, I feel a bit on the spot, which is part of this process, and thank you for having me.
See right there, that's gratitude. We're all growing.
Yeah, we're getting real.
Thank you.
But, like, I don't know, like, you know, say you really wanted to get a gig and then someone else got the gig and you're like, fuck you, I'm better than you, I work harder than you, and it's not fair. And it's all, for me, it's always like, it's not fair, and I get really focused on that. And then it's like, well, you actually have like a lot of good stuff. And
Man, I go down a totally different rabbit hole. I go down that makes sense. I'm a piece of shit and I'm not good at this anyway. Like I go down that hole where I'm like, I'm never going to be fucking good enough. I can't believe I thought I'd get that gig. Like I go totally like fucking self-hate-ville.
You must get more towards Jen's thing than
Yeah,
Steph's thing.
I've
right?
heard it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. No, I flip between the two extremes.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Like,
You know, do you ever get that thing where you get envious of someone getting a thing that you were never even in contention for?
absolutely.
Yeah, and it's just like, why am I getting outraged about a thing that I was,
Yeah, but
I'm
I'm
mad that I can't
didn't even
MC.
audition for that thing.
I'm
Why
mad
am
I can't MC a female-run comedy night.
exactly.
You know, just be like, why isn't it?
Yeah.
Why isn't there space for me? I'm an
what
ally.
she said, fucking put me on as the headliner.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just as good.
I'm not mad that they got it. I'm mad that I didn't have the foresight to know I should have tried for that. Like, it's such a long path. Like, it's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not about me thinking I'm better. It's literally just, they've got so many more life skills than you. Look what they're capable of achieving. Like, you're
It's
not
just-
doing anything.
It's just another way of beating the shit out of yourself.
Yeah, it's just a really roundabout way of doing it.
Because we're doing the same thing, you're just doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
So it's a manifestation of self-loathing just expressed in two kind of polar opposite ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the same end result.
I suck.
Yeah.
So you've got to fucking figure out what are you grateful for? Like, what do you have gratitude for?
Right now?
Sometimes it's good to just break it down to like, oh, this pillow is fucking awesome.
Yeah, seriously,
And I'm
stuff
so
like that.
lucky I've got this fucking pillow.
Yeah.
I think I've talked about this on this pod. Maybe I haven't, but like I think I told you, Benny. But like I'd been through a breakup. I'd come home from the UK. My mum's house was sold. I had nowhere to live at all. I had a suitcase, and my sister, who was renovating her newly bought house with her happy marriage and 2 beautiful children, was like, "You can sleep on a mattress in our renovated space that will eventually become a kitchen." And I was lying there, and I was like in therapy because I'm like, I fucking hate life. And I remember waking up. Actually, I was in a relationship still, but it was like dying in the ass at this stage. And I woke up on my 30th birthday, and I remember like lying there being like, well, I'm thankful there's a mattress between me and the rubble. Like I was so fucking low. Like, there is fabric and I'm doing good. Like, it was so fucking hard to, but you have to. You got to get to
You
like,
have to.
I've got a pillow, you know.
Yeah.
And then my nieces climbed all over me, and I was like, oh, this is cute. I'm happy again.
But it's that thing where sometimes it's easier to hold on to the gratitude for the moment. Like one time I was like waiting for the bus in the rain and it's pissing down and I was so angry and I just imagined myself like, shut my eyes and projected myself into wherever, some place where there is no bus and it's 40 degrees colder and everything's fucked and you've got nowhere to go and blah, 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 blah. And so when I opened my eyes, all of a sudden my situation was like, oh, this isn't so bad. The bus will be here, you'll have a hot shower when you get home. But, it's tenuous. I was watching a documentary today about dogs on Netflix, and the first episode's about like service dogs, like for kids with cerebral palsy and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been having like a grumpy day because I had a shitty thing happen a few days ago, so I've been in a bad mood. And I'm watching like these fucking like severely handicapped children meeting the dog that's gonna fucking, keep them standing as they try and walk down a hallway, and thinking the whole time like, man, you are so lucky. You're so lucky.
Well,
you don't have to have a service dog. But like, it's like 5 seconds later, oh, everything sucks and it's not fair and my life's shit.
You can't compare yourself to other people, then it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't fucking
it's
work.
not about that.
It's
It's literally just about what you like.
Because that can curdle as well when, say, like if you were on a mattress on the floor in like a renovated kitchen, you'd be like, well, at least I'm not like a starving child in Africa.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I've never fucking been that. I've always had a bed though.
Yeah.
I like to take luck over gratitude, but I'll tell you one quick story from the thing. Around that time when I was on the couch in the renovated kitchen, I worked at the airport, and I was bitching to this chick that I worked with about how fucked everything was, and this guy had lied to me who I loved, like everything was crap, and then no shit, this man, it's not funny, it's just his life, but had no arms or legs and rolled past us on a skateboard to go to his gate, and she looked at me and went, gee, Jen, we should be thankful for some things. And I was in such a hole, I was like, nah! And I couldn't see past my own.
He's got a fucking cool skateboard
I was
at least.
like, so fucking self-indulgent. I was like, no, you don't get it. But I heard this podcast ages ago about this guy who, through just a weird bunch of mix-ups in his upbringing, he thought luck had put him where he had. And he was like, everyone kept saying, this guy is so genuinely happy. And they're like, why are you happy? He's like, well, I just feel really lucky. And I think feeling lucky or considering luck has played a part works better for me than like gratitude shit. Does that make sense? Like then, everyone's like, lie in bed and think of 3 things you're grateful for. I'm like, ugh. Whereas if something happens that works, like you get somewhere and you're like first in line, you get the tickets you want, or I don't know, whatever, works way better for me. Where I'm like, oh fuck, I'm so lucky that happened, than the alternative of like, What do I feel grateful for? Well, I have a dress. Like that shit doesn't.
But isn't that just a different form of gratitude? Like
Yeah,
I'm grateful for being
But
a
it's
lucky white woman living in fucking Richland.
The luck is immediate in terms of your circumstances, whereas gratitude does what Kirkman said, where it forces you to say, well, I'm lucky because I have food, and then you compare yourself to someone whose life is just a fucking turd, and it doesn't always work. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like,
For me, it's more like it has to be more linear than that. So it can't just be like picking random things you're grateful for. It literally has to be in direct relation to the situation.
right, which is where the luck thing works for me. Like,
Yeah.
it's like right then and there, I'm like, I am lucky that I got the last seat to this delicious ramen joint. Whereas if someone in the morning is like, what are you grateful for? I'm like, I don't know, I have milk in my fridge. Like, it doesn't fly as much.
Okay.
No, I get that. Yeah. All right. It's just channeling it into a different fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky to have this buckwheat pillow.
You gotta get over your pillow,
I
man.
love my
Like,
pillow
you gotta
so
aim
fucking much.
higher.
Buckwheat pillow, guys. Buy a buckwheat pillow. The greatest. Fuck memory foam buckwheat.
It's made Benny very happy.
Honestly, you don't realise how good it is.
I
Like,
sleep with a
molds around
body
it.
pillow,
What was that?
like a full-length maternity pillow.
Yeah, I was gonna say body pillow is a maternity pillow.
What is that? Like, why don't you just spoon with your wife?
She gets too hot. We get too hot. It's
So you've
kinda
got like matching do you like stick
No,
her
she
face
doesn't
on
have one. I've had one since I was 21. One of my friends got me onto it.
So you
Everyone looks at me as well, and there's like, oh, it's an anime hentai thing, isn't it? And I'm like, no, it's a plain white sheet. It's just a long pillow that
do you
can
guys
hug.
start do you guys start cuddling? Like when you first get into bed together, is there a bit of like, ooh, and then you like kind of defect to your
Cuddle
maternity
pillow?
Yeah, there's always, you go your own separate ways, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you get hot. Or
Yeah.
your leg wants to go somewhere, and they're like, I don't want your leg there.
It's impractical to cuddle someone all night, I think.
It is impractical.
I had a relationship where we slept in a single bed for like 3 years, and so we couldn't not be entwined when we slept.
That's
and
cute.
it fit very nicely. It was good.
Doesn't sound healthy.
Why is it not healthy? Fucking billions of people live like that all around the world. Not everyone gets to live in fucking apartments in Newtown with their king-size bed. You fucking bourgeois.
That's what I was saying about the gratitude bit being boring.
Sorry.
No, fair enough. Yeah, whatever. I like my bed.
No, it was very nice. But
have to
no,
have a
it is
big bed.
impractical to fucking...
But how, on a single bed, how'd you do it? Like you're
You have to cuddle.
spooning?
You have to cuddle.
Yeah.
You have to spoon.
Did your relationship
don't-
just last winter?
Well, let's not get into that relationship.
But that
it's
mean
not.
you don't take into account, do you not move around much when you sleep?
I think it's more of a comatose.
Yeah,
sort
I
of
think
slip-away
those
state.
were the days where it was less that I was falling asleep and more that I was passing out.
Yeah.
That
So
doesn't
once you
count. You don't get credit for that.
What?
You don't
Passing
get-
out?
Yeah, you don't get credit for sharing a single bed with someone if you're passing
If you're
out
passing,
every
yeah,
night.
no, but
Yeah.
you're right.
Organically falling to sleep together for 3 years in a single bed is impressive.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you're right.
chemically
Yeah,
using
yeah,
it
no,
is just
fuck that.
It's like falling asleep on an airplane. There's no real
Yeah,
credit. You're
yeah.
just on 5 Valiums.
You're just like looking at each other, being like, "Well, I guess I like you. Now, time to dump these 50 THC pills."
THC pills.
Yeah, and
what?
just yeah.
Oh man, I was doing it the right way. I was smoking cones out of a fucking orchie bottle and a bit of hose. Okay.
Yeah, that's
It
cool.
was circa 2006. That's how we did it back then.
Love ain't dead.
Just rough. She was great.
So you're always
Are we
chasing
who we're
that
talking
now.
about? Who you think we're talking about?
Oh, we're talking about everyone.
I don't want to talk about.
All right, let's not talk
It's
about it.
bad. We have to edit.
So Benny,
Sean,
you're just
come
chasing
on.
the idea that one day you'll find someone who will give you that feeling of chemically passing out. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I want a woman who makes me feel like punching a Gatorade bottle full of weed so I don't move. And she doesn't move.
Yeah.
And all thoughts are switched
Yeah, yeah,
off.
yeah.
And we can just watch this dog documentary
Yeah.
with the TV timer set to 20 minutes and then a dreamless sleep.
Yeah.
And we wake up and be like, I fucking hate you. That does sound to me like
It's
your
true.
perfect
Oh, yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
Like a tear would come out of your eye and be like, that's what I want.
Nailed it.
Bang on.
Finally given it to me.
The
Whoever
only-
can find the off switch on the back of my head, please.
That is exactly what heaven looks like for you. With interims of like being drunk in comedy rooms or calling me screaming about how everything's fucked, or how in love you are and you're going to burn the world down.
Yeah, all right, cool. All right.
No, we've all been there. Hey, love's love, mate. No
All right,
judgment.
let's not talk about this because I'm going to get really overly emotional. And we're running out of time. So, is there any last...
No, we're not. No, we're not yet.
We're
We're
not?
not yet. We've got a little bit.
Hello? All right, fine, sure.
We got a little bit.
All right, well,
I'm on track, Benny. I'm in charge. I'm
you
taking
fucking keep it
control.
coming then. Let's go.
Look at me go.
What are you grateful for, Jenny?
Nothing. I
Oh, we
feel
already did
lucky,
that.
mate.
Yeah, you feel lucky.
No, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for some shit. I'm grateful that like I overcome a bunch of weird shit I had when I was younger and ended up with someone who isn't like my dad. Is that okay?
Insanely specific, but
Well,
good.
because I was thinking of relationships because Benny was talking about his stuff. But yeah, and also my dad's kind of crazy. So I had a couple of close fucking things there. So I'm grateful that I didn't do that because I very well could have, and it would have been
That's
kind of
funny
scary.
you mentioned that, because that thing about gratitude is something I didn't think about. It's amazing how something terrible can actually imbue you with an insane amount of gratitude. Like when I went through my whole fucking, butthole tearing open extensive surgery problem, like it was so painful and it was so traumatic.
Was it? Did you do a festival show about it?
Yeah, but that was like 5 years after the fact. Like it was fucking...
But it was 5 years of butt tearing.
It was like full on, man. Like, and reconstructive surgery and just like pain like I've never experienced, blah, blah, blah. But like, anytime I tell someone about it, they were like, oh my God, that's so fucked up. Oh my God, are you okay? And it's like, yeah, you almost have to choose, yeah, I'm fine. Because,
now shitting's a joy.
Well, no, it's like it's a daily nightmare. But it becomes this thing where it's like, you know what I am? I'm grateful for the fact that this situation has forced me into a position where I have to think about what I eat. Because prior to that, it was like, I'm going to eat 2 tubs of Ben & Jerry's and a fucking massive bag of Red Rock deli chips for dinner. Whereas now it's like, well, no, that's not.
Yeah.
No longer can you, like, your self-control just kick in. Like, that's physiologically impossible to do.
But because when people have near-death experiences and then that changes their whole life. And then, wouldn't it be cool if you could just do that without having to almost die?
I know. This is the problem with
that's
people,
what I'm trying
right?
to do. That's my New Year's resolution.
But don't you feel like people eventually just come back to what they consider normality anyway? Like people go through horrific shit where they're like, oh my God, everything happened, like my house burnt down, this crazy amount of fucked up stuff. And then within 6 months, they're like back to, but like after a war, people rebuild and go back to like selling food on the street.
No, of course.
And,
I think you are who you are.
We go back to our comfort.
I think you can choose to focus in a situation. I think you can make that choice.
I don't think you can.
I don't have that
I think
kind
you're
of
right.
self-control.
I think you can push yourself in that direction.
Yeah.
But I think once your wiring's set in, it's very difficult to hack those circuits.
Everything. Well, change is always difficult, but I think it's possible.
What about this? Do you
I need to believe it.
You need to believe it. Yeah.
Mainly for you, Ben, but do you feel like gratitude ever for relationships flaming out and being bad? I think that's a thing where I've had ex-partners and stuff where you you do have gratitude afterwards because you got to spend this time with someone, whatever, and then you learn something as well.
Oh, even the relationship that left me the most scarred up, I'm totally grateful for it because it was while it was happening, it was exciting and fun and out of control, and it was an experience.
That's like a
the one that
maturity
did
thing.
me was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah. No, there's I guess when I look at the whole whatever fall out of my life, there's very little that I regret or that I'm not I'm glad I went through that, whether or not it's gratitude. But a lot of the time it's the most awful things sometimes are the things, I'm grateful I was there when my grandma died. It was, on paper it's a horrible thing to watch someone die, but I have so much gratitude that I was there for that.
Yeah.
But I think, I think that's the problem. It goes back to that thing you were saying before about, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. You're kind of focusing on maybe more disposable kind of transitory things. I'm grateful for this amazing book that I'm reading at the moment. It's that's nice, but I don't know, sometimes it's great to look back on the stuff that on paper is not great and realize, that was actually really good for me.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the luck thing. And with that, what you were saying, I dated a guy for a while who used to say he hated, I think he might have he did come out of a huge breakup before we dated. And his whole thing was, he's like, I fucking hate it when people say in a relationship you've wasted someone else's time, which clearly his ex had said to him because it was a fucking, point. And then when we broke up, I remember thinking about it and I'm like, even if you're hurt and it's fucked and even if it's the worst, one night stand, whatever experience, you can sort of look at it however you want. Like with the gratitude thing, you can sort of look at it with rose-colored glasses where you can be like, oh, I got to hang out with this person and breaking up with them was great because I learnt all this shit. Or you can say, you can take that they wasted my time approach, which is just
but it depends how much pain's involved. If there's an
Totally.
if there's an intense amount of pain involved, it's very hard to be philosophical.
Oh yeah, and that guy like hurt me, and so I would say to him like, "You wasted my time." But then like later you grow up and you're like, "Ah, you didn't. I was just fucking angry, and I knew that would."
But you need that. But you do need that distance.
Yeah.
Like in the moment.
But I was in my early 20s in like a very abusive relationship, and I am super grateful that I know all the signs now,
Oh, yeah.
and I will never ever have to have one ever again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
So glad
perfect.
that happened when I was that young.
Yeah. When you go on a date
And
with
that it
a
was
human
that
red
guy and I was
flag.
never
Yeah.
hit or anything. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm seriously grateful.
Yeah.
So like, you can kind of like, I mean, that took 10 years, but
Yeah, but it always does. It's the whole thing
Yeah.
of the older you get, the wiser you get. You look back and you're like, fuck.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
don't
So
think
the wiser you are, maybe the more gratitude you have.
Maybe.
I feel like the older I get, the more confused and dumber I'm getting, and less sure of things.
I'm definitely more comfortable now than I was.
I'm more
10 years
comfortable,
ago.
Oh,
but
for sure.
when I was younger, I thought I knew all of the fucking. I knew what I wanted, and now it's like I actually have no.
Yeah, I also think when you're younger, you just kind of put your head down and enter into the scrimmage, and you're just like,
Yeah.
who gives a shit? But when you're older and you've had that many scarring experiences, you're just like, all right, well, I've seen all the routes before now,
Yes.
and I don't want to go up any of them.
But isn't
Yeah.
it comforting to be like, I don't know what I want now? And you can relax. Like when I was younger, I'd be like, I need to fucking achieve. And now I'm like, I just want to like eat dinner and not get a hangover.
Oh, totally.
Like it's like,
Read a book and leave me alone.
Yeah, it's kind of comforting.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it brings a trauma with it, but it's definitely like, I think when you're younger, you're like, oh, when I turn 40, then I'll know who I am. Like, no, it's just kind of.
You're exactly who you are. like I suspect you
Is that a
came
compliment?
walking out of your poor mother's womb being like, I'm happy to be alive. I fucking hate living. Like I imagine and poor May was just like, oh my God, Benny.
true.
Like I think that's, you've just, you're exactly who you are. You have to try and stop labeling it, man.
Ah, fuck off.
Just admit that
You
you're...
dispensing wisdom is so condescending.
so
coming from
wise.
the most fucking anxious. Anyway,
You guys,
that's fine. It's great.
let me teach you.
Final thoughts.
For us?
Yeah, for you guys. I mean, we can do them
Awkwardness.
too.
Oh man, I can tell you like a bad story
Please
about being
do.
awkward
Please.
quickly. I told it on my podcast, but that only gets 10 listens a week, so might as well tell it to another 10 people.
Double or nothing.
I was like, because this was the story I thought of when I thought of awkward. When I was in uni once, this is how I met like a very close friend of mine because he recognized me from this tutorial. But we did a tutorial exercise where everyone in the class wrote an essay, and then at the end of it, they were supposed to hand their essay to another person. The other person was supposed to read it to the class. So kind of, to get over reading your shit versus other people's shit or whatever. So everyone puts their heads down, starts writing their essay. I dip into my little pencil case. I get out a pen. It does not work. I'm out of ink. And at this point, it had been about 5 minutes in, I was like trying to get ink. There's nothing. And I was so anxious and awkward to ask people for a pen
Oh,
that
no.
instead of asking for a pen, I just etched into the paper with my dry inkless pen for a full page and a half. A full page and a half of just etchings into this thing. And so then it comes time to it, and we hand over the essays, and I hand my essay to this guy, and he was like, this is a blank piece of paper, dude. And I was just like,
Look at it in the right light.
and I told him to hold it up and he'd be able to read it better. And he was like, I have a pen, a spare pen. I was like, I just couldn't. And then 2 years later, I met this guy at a party, and he was just like, you're the guy from that tutorial, aren't you? Yeah.
Fuck. Isn't it the worst when the fear of awkwardness makes you so much more of a social pariah and a freak of nature?
I
than you
could have
would
asked for a
Yeah.
pen
Can I have a
so
pen?
easily.
That's like the most basic request. But
Yeah.
instead, it's like, no, I'm gonna fucking expose myself as like a borderline.
And I had to
mentally ill
force a
person.
poor guy to hold my paper to the light and read etchings.
Hilarious. You could
Yeah.
have traced over it with a pencil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's his own fucking fault. Yeah, he should have done that. He
Like
could
he
have
used
been
to with 20
smart.
cent coins or
yeah.
Fuck. Oh my God. Final thoughts, Steph?
Okay, I'm grateful for everything I have. I'm really mad about everything I don't have, and I'm feeling very awkward that I didn't pick a funnier topic.
No, gratitude was great.
Gratitude
Yeah,
was
we did
great.
good with gratitude.
Gratitude and
I
awkward.
got to talk about my asshole again. It's like,
That was great.
yeah, it's, I'm always,
Benny's
I'm
been-
grateful for that.
He's been fighting like a positive one for so long, and now it happened, and it was great. Thank you so much, guys. I'm grateful. No, I'm not really. I think this was fun.
That was
I'm
good.
grateful that we got to
Had
do
a good
it.
time.
Thank you,
Benny?
Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steph.
Thank you.
Thanks, Piglets.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Sean, our
Thank you,
wonderful
Sean.
producer. Bye.
No.
Bye.